What's up, everyone? It's Shaletta. I'm here getting a phone for one of my newly minted teenagers with Xfinity Mobile. They've got great options, affordable plans, and solid coverage that works for our whole family. With Xfinity Mobile, my daughter can stay connected with me wherever she goes. And did you know when you sign up, you can get an extra phone line free for a full year? Switch to Xfinity Mobile today for more savings, more smiles, and more ways to stay connected.
Want your boss to put some real action behind the rhetoric when they talk about making your workplace more inclusive? Find out how to hold their feet to the fire and demand diversity on the Diversity Dude podcast.
Hello there, and welcome back to the Diversity Dude podcast. I'm your host, Lambert Fisher, marriage and family therapist, award-winning author, and national speaker on the topic of multicultural awareness and diversity. And for those of you who are interested in even more positive and encouraging tips and strategies beyond what I share in podcasts like this, then feel free to check out my award-winning book, Diversity in Clinical Practice, nationally recognized for the unique way in which it addresses the often difficult topic of multicultural awareness and diversity, designed for more than just therapists. If you're a helping professional in any way, Diversity in Clinical Practice can help you meet the greatest variety of cultural needs possible for those whom you serve, and is available in paper and audiobook versions for your convenience. And if you haven't heard it yet, I invited you to visit TED.com and check out my talk called What to Do When You Offend Someone, where I offer a positive and practical perspective on how to navigate unintentional offenses in daily life. To date, it's been viewed over 500,000 times. Check it out for yourself, and if you're encouraged by it as well, then share it with a friend. And whether it be through my one-on-one relationship building efforts as a therapist or my informing and empowering efforts as an author and speaker, know that my personal mission is to do my part to improve the world one strengthened relationship at a time. So, today I want to share with you an encouraging perspective on surviving a politically divided holiday. As weather changes in small ways for some and more significant ways for others, depending on where you're listening, we are now entering many consider to be the most wonderful time of the year, the holiday season. Even those who don't celebrate the holidays being most publicized on TV and stores and everywhere music is played, often still appreciate the abundance of joy and positivity being expressed during this time of the year more so than others. And yet, at the same time, it's also very common for there to be a sense of dread when it comes to coming together as a family and as friends. For while holiday gatherings offer the chance to laugh, smile, and be hopeful, it also provides the opportunity for arguments, division, and drama. This worry is particularly heightened for many this year, as there's still a sense of uncertainty regarding the impact of the most recent election and the role it may play on already risky holiday gathering plans, with some even preemptively preparing themselves for a fight that feels inevitable. Now, though I don't know each of your families such that I could promise what they will or won't do, I would like to provide a few considerations regarding what you can do to reduce the likelihood of a holiday to be forgotten, and instead help you proactively prepare to not only survive, but to thrive in the midst of a politically divided holiday. The first consideration is this: remember that you love your family. I started here because after a political election that not only reflected the polarized country we live in, but also made many question the sense of sameness and safety they often found comfort in, many are going into their holiday experiences wondering if they're really commiserating with family or the enemy in disguise. Every comment is questioned and analyzed. Covert tests are given to see where people stand on certain topics. Why? To find out if they can really trust the people whom they call family. My encouragement to you is to resist the temptation to reevaluate the quality of your family relationships based on their voting preferences and political leanings alone. Yes, I'm aware that who a person voted for can tell you a lot about a person. However, I'm also aware that who a person voted for doesn't tell you everything there is to know about that person, for there are many reasons why people vote the way that they do. What does tell you more about a person is having spent time with them for years of your life, seeing how they treat you in real life and how they support your well-being and the many shared experiences that you built together. A different voting preference or political party doesn't erase that, nor does it mean that all of that you experienced was a lie. What it means is that for whatever reason, and there are likely many, they have the capacity to love and care for you as a person, while also having different preferences and concerns that make them lean the way that they do politically. You may not understand all of the ins and outs of why, but you can start by not deleting who they have been to you, and conceive of the possibility of loving them separate from their political beliefs. Which leads to consideration number 2. Remember, your family likely has their own reasons for their political beliefs as well. I highlight this consideration because I often hear people express the fact that they voted that way means that they couldn't possibly care about me and my well being. Now, on one hand, this makes sense to the degree that behaviors and practices of certain political leaders have the potential to negatively impact some more so than others. And if you identify with the negatively impacted groups, then it's not only reasonable to dislike those particular leaders, but also the political party that supports those leaders and the individuals, even family, who voted for those leaders. The conclusion being, if you voted for the leaders who are negatively impacting or hurting me, then you are supporting me being hurt. For those who are being accused of this, I beg of you not to jump directly to defending why their hurt is reasonable as a casualty of the election process. I guarantee you that will not be heard well, but it will also do more harm than good. For it is the feeling of being overlooked or outright dismissed that no matter what the cost may be, that must be acknowledged and addressed one way or another. Now, that being said, for those of you who draw this conclusion about others, know that the conclusion itself is not always accurate. But just as you have many reasons for why you voted the way you did, including the hopes that they can accomplish what they can, and the concerns that you have that you hope they can prevent from becoming a reality, your family members also have reasons why they voted differently. Not necessarily to dash your hopes or to bring your concerns into a reality, but instead because they have their own hopes for what their preferred leaders could accomplish, as well as their own concerns, which they hope the leaders can prevent from becoming a reality. All for what is believed to be the betterment of this country and everyone in it, including you. The key here is acknowledging that while inconvenient in its outcome and its potential impact on you, someone else's hopes and fears are just as legitimate as feelings as your hopes and fears. What is unfortunate for you is that their hopes and fears are leading them to make certain voting and political affiliation leanings that are negatively impacting you. That is very understandable. What's transformative here is that if there is an argument to be made, it cannot be for them to dismiss their hopes and concerns in favor of your hopes and concerns. That would be just as disrespectful to feelings as what it feels like they're doing to you. Instead, a healthier discussion would include a mutual acknowledgement of various hopes and concerns, followed by mutual effort to identify steps that can be taken to achieve a compromise, where hopes on both sides can be pursued and concerns on both sides can be acknowledged and mitigated in a healthy way. Which leads to consideration number 3. Know that you don't have to talk about politics during the holidays. As with most everything in life, there's a time and a place for everything. In this case, there's a time to argue and there's a time to relax and enjoy each other's company. Loving your family and enjoying their company during the holidays is not the same thing as loving, approving, or condoning their political beliefs, their preferred candidates, policies, or worldviews. It just means that despite your differences, no matter how significant they may be, you still see them as a person. You still see them as family, and that means something. Because they are family, because you remember that you loved and still love them, and that you want what's best for them, choose to believe that despite their less than preferred ways of showing it, they love you as well, and they want what's in your best interests, even if they think they have a better way of achieving it. You can show this consideration by initiating a holiday truce. This includes taking a temporary break from arguing, fighting, or even simply advocating for your legitimate causes, and instead allow yourself to simply be family and enjoy each other's company. In doing so, when it is time to resume respectfully presenting arguments and positions, you can do so from a place of mutual respect with genuine love for your intellectual counterpart. How can you initiate this kind of truce? Well, for some, the best way to do so is directly, by waiting for the first sign of political talk and declaring to anyone in earshot that it is your desire to share a politics-free holiday gathering together, not ignoring concerns, but pausing them for the simple enjoyment of each other's company, with ample time in life to resume those arguments later. For others, this will be too forward and potentially even more problematic, making some family members feel undesirably restricted in the way that they can or cannot talk about. Those in situations like this may find it beneficial to simply walk away, not disrespectfully making a scene and blaming others for this chosen absence, but instead to find another room, find someone else to talk to, engage others in a game, or watch TV with someone else. It may not be preferred and it may not have to be permanent, but it can be an effort to preserve your mental, emotional, and intellectual well being. And for those of you who ask, yeah, but what if they follow me? Then that's when you combine the two strategies and you respond directly to this pursuit by respectfully saying, look, I walked away because I prefer to avoid politics for one day and simply enjoy family. That includes you. While I can't stop you from talking, it will mean a lot to me if you will respect my preference not to listen. Then smile and walk away. At that point, if they still don't listen, then it is clear that respect for you was not high on their priority list, and it may require you to ask for help from other family members to help you bring the peace that you desire. With all this in mind, my hope for you is that you will be able to see your family for who they've always been: family. Not the enemy in disguise, not political adversaries, but family with differing hopes and concerns, trying to make decisions for the betterment of themselves, their family, their community, their state, and their country, just like you. Yes, you may disagree on a multitude of important issues regarding how they seek to do that, but loving them as family doesn't lessen your beliefs. It just means that you have the ability to call a truce, choosing to take a mutual break from fighting for legitimate causes and instead fight for the preservation of the cause of your family and your relationship together. I hope that you're able to pleasantly surprise your family by being direct or indirect in your influence in making your holiday gathering a politically safe one this year. And with that, I'll say thanks again for listening to today's Diversity Do podcast. If you have any pressing diversity related questions that you'd like me to address on an upcoming podcast, or if your organization is in need of a shame-free and empowering guest speaker or training on this often sensitive topic, then feel free to reach out to me directly at www.diversitymadesimple.com. And if you know of anyone else who can benefit from a positive and encouraging perspective on the often difficult topic of diversity, feel free to send them a link to this podcast so they can be encouraged as well. Or share with them an award-winning book, Diversity in Clinical Practice, available at Amazon.com. And don't forget to visit TED.com and check out my talk on what to do when you offend someone. I hope it inspires you and that you can share it with someone else so that they can be inspired as well. And as usual, I look forward to addressing as many topics as possible in future podcasts to help you improve as many relationships as possible, at work, at home, and in your community. And as always, remember this: you don't need to know everything about everyone in order to have a positive impact on someone. Thank you all for tuning in, and have a great day.
Tune in each week and find out how to demand and implement diversity at your job. To hear more, check out previous Diversity Dude shows on ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com.
You know Shaletta makes you laugh, but did you know Shaletta Brundage can also make you think and boost your business? Media personality, activist, and comedian Shaletta Brundage founded Shaletta Makes Me Laugh to celebrate and share the best of Black culture. It's a podcasting platform. You can download 10 weekly podcasts hosted by African-American subject experts at ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com is also a production house, creating broadcast-quality commercial content. And Shaletta and her team of storytellers create powerful promotional campaigns to get businesses the brand awareness they're looking for. Some of Minnesota's top businesses trust Shaletta, and you can too. Get out the word about your events and products and get in front of communities of color with ShalettaMakesMeLaugh.com. She's got the power to help your business.